I never thought betrayal could taste like champagne and caviar. But there I was, choking it down at the gala for Vanguard Capital's latest merger announcement. My husband, Victor Hale, the golden boy of Wall Street, had his arms slung around me like I was arm candy for the cameras. Esther, darling, he whispered, his breath hot against my ear. You're the perfect placeholder. Smile for the sharks, they eat their own. But they love a pretty face. Hours later, I'd rewrite his empire in bloodless ink, turning his $200 million golden parachute into a noose. But first, he had to watch me burn it all down from inside his own skin. It started 6 months earlier, in the sterile hum of our Upper East Side penthouse, where the Hudson River glittered like fool's gold outside floor-to-ceiling windows. Victor and I had built this life from nothing, me, the quiet quant from a nowhere town in Ohio, crunching numbers for hedge funds while he schmoozed the old money. I'd coded the algorithms that spotted the patterns in crypto volatility, the ones that netted Vanguard its first billion. But Victor? He was the face, the charmer with the Ivy League smirk and the Rolodex full of senators. We're a team, he'd say, kissing my forehead like I was his lucky charm. Lies taste sweetest when they're marinated in ambition. The merger with Apex Dynamics was supposed to be our crowning glory, a $500 million fusion of fintech and biotech that would catapult Vanguard into the stratosphere. I spearheaded the data modeling, spending nights buried in code, predicting market ripples from neural network simulations. It wasn't just numbers, it was revolutionary. We'd integrated experimental AI from a black-budget DARPA project, neural links that could sync human intuition with machine precision, turning traders into oracles. Victor presented it as his brainchild at the pitch meetings, but I was the ghost in the machine, the one who debugged the glitches that could have fried a user's synapses. Then came the first crack. Late one night, as I pored over the final sims, Victor burst into my home office. Ty Askew, eyes wild with that post-coke gleam he denied, but I always smelled on his collar. We need to talk. He paced like a caged wolf, the city lights carving shadows across his chiseled jaw. The board spooked. That DARPA tie-in? Too hot. Regulators are sniffing around ethics violations, human trials without full consent. My stomach dropped. I'd known about the shortcuts. Hell, I'd buried them in the code to keep the project alive. But Victor? He'd greenlit them. All for the glory. He stopped pacing, leaned against my desk, and fixed me with that piercing blue stare. We pivot. I take the fall guy role publicly, resign as CEO. Cite personal reasons. You stay on as CTO. Clean hands, and we rebuild from the ashes. But the deal's poisoned if it leaks you're involved. I laughed, bitter and disbelieving. Victor, I built this. The code. The links, it's mine. He cupped my face, gentle as a predator. And that's why you'll shine. I'm the lightning rod, baby. You get the empire. I should have seen the knife then, glinting in his smile. Instead, I signed the non-disclosure, the one that pinned the ethical lapses on a fabricated rogue subcontractor, me, in proxy documents he'd forged with a digital signature I'd once trusted him with. By morning, the SEC was at our door, and Victor was on every CNBC screen, tearfully stepping down to protect the firm he loved. The headline screamed, "Vanguard Scandal, CEO's wife implicated in biohacking cover-up." My face, pixelated and damning, splashed across tabloids from the Post to the Times. Friends ghosted, My sister in Cleveland stopped calling after the family dinner, where Uncle Ray called me, that corporate Jezebel. Isolation hit like a market crash. Vanguard suspended me pending investigation. My access codes revoked overnight. Victor moved us to a safe house in the Hamptons, his safe house. Really? A glass-walled McMansion where he hosted pity parties for the elite, all while whispering in my ear about our comeback story. You're tougher than this. Remember Ohio? That mill town grit. But his touches grew colder. His alibis longer. I found the emails buried in his deleted folder. Drafts to his lawyers. Prepping divorce papers that cited my instability as grounds. Positioning him as the victim of a manipulative spouse entangled in fraud. The betrayal deepened when the feds raided our penthouse. I was alone. Victor in meetings, when agents and windbreakers hauled out servers I'd personally wired. They cuffed me in front of the doorman, Mr. Patel, who'd slip me extra bagels on bad days, muttering about obstruction of justice. Turns out, Victor had tipped them off anonymously, framing the Neuralink prototypes as my private side hustle. The crime I bore? Potential manslaughter charges if those early trials leaked, test subjects with fried neurons, comas hushed up with NDAs. But it was his signature on the waivers, his ambition that pushed the boundaries. I was the scapegoat, the placeholder wife who'd gone rogue. Released on bail, Victor's money. Of course, I holed up in a flea-bag motel off the turnpike. The kind with roaches that skittered like stock tickers. My lawyer. A sleazy ambulance chaser, Victor recommended. Advised pleading out. 2 years. Maybe probation. He's got the board eating from his hand. But I couldn't swallow it. Not when Victor's LinkedIn updated with a consulting gig at Apex, the very firm we'd merged into oblivion. He'd played both sides, leaking just enough to tank the deal, then swooping in as the white knight with a $200 million consulting contract, golden parachute deployed. That's when the idea sparked, born from desperation and a late-night rabbit hole into fringe tech forums. The Neuralinks weren't just for trading. DARPA's black files hinted at full-spectrum syncing, body swaps, consciousness transfers. Sci-fi bullshit, right? But I'd seen the prototypes, helmets humming with quantum entanglement coils, syncing brains across distances. Victor had mothballed them after a glitch that left a beta tester catatonic, babbling in someone else's memories. What if I could glitch it right? Become him. From the inside out. Infiltrate his world. Execute the power move he denied me. Sabotage the Apex deal. Reroute the funds to expose him. Then swap back and watch him rot. It was insane. Unethical. Hell. Suicidal. But betrayal carves out spaces where madness feels like justice. I reached out to Lena,
my old MIT roommate.
Now a ghost in the machine herself. Hacking DARPA leaks for whistleblower sites. You're talking full upload. It's not ready. Could scramble your gray matter. But she sent the blueprints anyway. Encrypted in a dead drop at a Brooklyn dive bar. Over stale IPAs. She walked me through the hack, a portable rig. Jury-rigged from scavenged parts. Needing 2 subjects in proximity. Victor would be the unwitting host. I'd initiate from afar. Using a backdoor in his smartwatch, the one I'd coded as a wedding gift. The gala was the perfect stage. Black ties swarm in the Guggenheim's spiraling atrium. Champagne flutes clinking like countdown clocks. Victor held court near the Rothko, regaling investors with tales of his phoenix rise. I played the dutiful wife. Silk gown whispering against my skin. Neural rig hidden in a clutch, like a lady's compact. To new beginnings, he toasted, clinking my glass. his eyes sliding past me to a redhead in venture capital chic. That's when he dropped the bomb. Low enough for only me to hear. S. The divorce papers are filed. You're out, placeholders up. Sign quietly, or the feds get the full server logs. Your call. The room spun. Rothko's blacks bleeding into voids. Placeholder. After 12 years, I was the prop in his ascent. Rage coiled like a short circuit, fingers itching for the rig's trigger. I slipped into the coat check. Heart hammering, syncing the watch's signal. Lena's voice crackled in my earbud. Link at 80%. Don't chicken out. Back in the fray. I brushed Victor's arm, innocent contact, and whispered, "Fuck you, Vic." The hum started, a migraine bloom behind my eyes. Then, darkness. Not death, but unraveling. Memories flooded, his childhood in Greenwich, the coke-fueled all-nighters, the thrill of the first billion. I gasped, and it was his voice, deep, resonant. In the mirror of the Guggenheim's powder room, Victor Hale stared back, tie straight, smile predatory. My old body slumped against the sink, eyes vacant. Lena's rig blinking red in the clutch nearby. Hemi stumbled in later, confusion etching my former face. "What the hell?" he slurred in my voice, pawing at the mirror. I straightened his tie, my tie now, and leaned in. "Welcome to the real merger, darling." His eyes widened, recognition dawning in that stolen shell. The swap was partial, unstable. We'd trade places in waves. But for now, I was him. And tonight, I'd execute the move that would make his empire crumble. Wearing Victor's skin felt like slipping into a bespoke suit tailored for sin, silk against scars I never knew he carried. A faint ache in his left knee from that '09 ski accident he blamed on me. The gala swirled on oblivious. String quartet sawing at Vivaldi while I navigated his world, backslaps from hedge fund bros. Lingering hugs from the women he'd betted. "Vic. You dog. What's the secret to bouncing back?" Chuckle Harlan from BlackRock, clapping his shoulder. I flashed the Hale grin. All teeth and no soul. Resilience. Harlan. And a good placeholder to take the hits. Inside. Panic clawed. The link hummed unstable. Visions flickering. My hands small, calloused from keyboards, typing code that built this farce. Victor, trapped in my body, had been hustled out by security after fainting. Lena's doing via a hacked Uber to a safe house in Queens. She'd monitor the vitals, dose the stabilizers via 4-drip. 24 hours max before decoherence, she'd texted. Enough time to gut his future. First, the power move. Apex's board meeting was virtual, set for dawn in their Silicon Valley war room. But Victor, me, had a VIP slot via satellite from the penthouse. I slipped out of the gala, hailing a town car that purred like a panther through rain-slicked streets. The driver, Ramon, nodded. "Rough night, Mr. Hale." "The roughest," I murmured, Victor's baritone rumbling like thunder. The penthouse was a tomb of excess, Basquiat on the walls. A bar stocked with single malt older than my parents. I poured a Macallan. Neat. And synced to the conference link on my laptop, the one with retinal scan I'd bypassed with a contact lens hack Lena fabbed. Faces materialized. Apex's CEO, Miranda Voss. A shark in pearls, the board. A gallery of Botox and bespoke wool. "Victor, glad you could join. Your insights on the neural integration priceless." Priceless. Indeed. I leaned into the camera, channeling his charisma. Miranda, let's cut the foreplay. The $200 mil consulting package? It's a steal for me. But I've got reservations. Brows furrowed on screen. I pulled up the doctored files, Lena's handiwork. Timestamps forged to show Victor siphoning prototype code to offshore rivals. This merger? It's DOA if the street smells insider trading. I've got logs. Your PAC donations funneled through my shell core.
Tit for tat.
Or I leak to the journal. Gasps rippled. Voss's pearls clacking like dice. Victor, this is blackmail. Call it leverage, I countered, voice steady as his was in boardrooms. Renegotiate. I walk with the full $200 mil wired by noon, or your IPO tanks 40%. And throw in equity, 10% in Apex Neural. It was audacious. The kind of play Victor would have envied. They balked. Muted feeds buzzing with sidebars. But greed won. Done, Voss hissed. But no leaks. My words gold. I lied, toasting the screen. The wire hit at 10:17 a.m. A digital avalanche into a Cayman account Lena rerouted to a victim restitution fund. Widows of those fried neural testers. Buried in legalese. Victor's parachute. Deflated. But that was the appetizer. The main course? Exposing the rot. I drafted the whistleblower drop. Anonymized docs to ProPublica. Timed for evening edition. SEC tip line next. With audio snippets of Victor's gala gloat. AI deepfaked to his voice. Placeholder wife takes the fall. Classic Hale move. By noon, my old body, him, woke groggy in Queens. Lena force-feeding electrolytes. I patched in via secure line. His panicked face filling the split screen. Esther? What the fuck did you do? I feel wrong. In my voice. It cracked like fine china. I smirked, his features twisting unnaturally. You feel betrayed. Vic, welcome to my world. Check your accounts. Oh wait. You can't. The board's circling. Apex just iced you out. He lunged at the screen. My small hands balling into fists. You bitch. This is identity theft, federal crime, says the man who stole my life. Poetic. Huh. The link wavered. A migraine spike pulling me back to shared memories. Our wedding in the Hamptons. Sand between toes. Vows whispered under stars. Was that love? Or his first con? I shoved it down, focusing on the next layer. The hidden secret, the one that made this personal. During the raid, I'd glimpsed a file on his desktop. Project Echo. Not DARPA, but Victor's pet black op. Funded off books. He tested the neural links on unwilling subjects, homeless vets from the Bowery. Lured with cash. Their minds scrambled for data points. One name jumped, Tommy Ruiz. A Marine I'd met at a gala. Now vegetative in Bellevue. His wife suing anonymously. Victor buried it, framing me in the proxy docs as the lead researcher. That was the crime I bore, manslaughter by proxy. The Fed's star exhibit. But now, in his skin, I had access. I cracked his safe biometric palm scan. Child's play with a 3D printed mold Lena couriered. Inside, hard drives, NDAs, and a ledger of payoffs. Tommy's wife's contact was there. Redacted, but traceable. I fired off an encrypted drop. Full files. $50 mill from the Cayman skim earmarked for her. Justice. Courtesy of the placeholder. Afternoon bled into chaos. CNBC looped. Hale scandal explodes. Insider trading allegations rock Apex merger. Victor's phone, my phone, exploded. Board fury. Lawyer panic. Voss threatening suits. I let it ring. Strolling Central Park in his Burberry trench. Leaves crunching under Italian loafers. Dog walkers eyed me warily. Victor's rep preceded him. Whispers of that sleaze Hale. For the first time, I felt seen, not as his shadow, but as the storm. Dusk fell. The link destabilizing. Flashes, his mistress's perfumes. The thrill of the con. I fought it, heading to the safe house. Lena met me at the door. Syringe ready. Vitals crashing. Swap back now, or you're both vegetables. Victor, in my body, paced, wild-eyed. End this, Esther. We can fix it. Joint statement. Therapy. Therapy? The man who'd gaslit me for years. Fix what? Vic, the divorce you filed while I rotted in cuffs? Or the vets you fried for stock tips? He lunged. My own frailty, surprising me. We grappled. The rig sparking on the floor. Pain lance synapses firing wrong, and suddenly, I was back in my skin. Small and scarred. Staring at Victor's body convulsing. No, he was me. Gasping in his frame. The swap reversed too soon. Incomplete. Memories tangled, his coke highs bleeding into my code binges. Our shared life a Gordian knot. But the move was executed. Wires cleared. Leaks live. As sirens wailed, feds. Tipped by my anonymous call, Victor clutched my arm. His eyes mine. You destroyed us.
No, Vic. You did.
I just collected. Handcuffs clicked. Cold as betrayal. Yet as they led him away, a whisper in my head, not mine, not his, placeholder no more. The fallout hit like a flash crash. Red ink bleeding across every screen from NASDAQ to my burner phone. By midnight, ProPublica's piece dropped, Wall Street's neural nightmare, Hale's hidden trials exposed. Tommy Ruiz's face, hollow-cheeked, pre-coma, stared from the byline photo. His wife's quote searing. They called it progress. We call it murder. The $50 mill hit her account at 11:47 p.m. Anonymous wire from Echo Fund. She texted a ghost number I ditched. God bless you. Whoever you are. Justice. Pixel by pixel. Victor rotted in a holding cell at Foley Square. His lawyer scrambling for bail while the SEC froze assets.
Me?
I vanished into the ether, crashing at Lena's Astoria walk-up. Walls papered in server racks humming like cicadas. You're a ghost now. She said, handing me a black market ID. Esther Kane. Freelance coder. No priors. The neural rig? Smashed and sunk in the East River. But echoes lingered, phantom itches where his memories grafted onto mine. I'd wake gasping, tasting his malt whiskey, feeling the ghost of his affairs like fresh wounds. Controversy brewed fast, the kind that splits dinner tables from Davos to dive bars. Fox called it feminist vigilantism run amok, painting me as the scorned harpy torching capitalism. CNN spun whistleblower heroism, interviewing ethics profs on the moral imperative of hacks. Twitter, X, whatever, ignited, placeholder revenge trending. Memes of Victor's smug face swapped onto cartoon villains. One viral thread dissected the body swap rumors. Fringe techies geeking over quantum entanglement foul play. I scrolled incognito. Heart pounding. Close. But no cigar. The truth? Too wild. Too classified. DARPA scrubbed the files by dawn. But Lena's mirrors kept the originals breathing. Deeper cuts came personal. My sister, Maggie, left a voicemail. What the hell? Uncle Ray says you're in deep shit. Ruining a good man for spite? Good man. The word curdled. I called back. Voice steady. Mags. He framed me. The raids. The charges, it was all him. Silence. Then, but the money. The deals. You cross lines.
Sis.
Revenge ain't Ohio values.
Click.
Family fractured. Another betrayal in the ledger. Victor's empire? Apex pulled the merger. Stock plunging 28% pre-market. His consultants scattered like roaches. Harlan texting. Vic. You snake. Hope it's worth it. Irony. The power move made me the villain in his narrative. Leaks twisting to suggest I'd orchestrated the swap as corporate sabotage. Yet power hummed. Dark and addictive. With Victor's passcodes burned into my brain via the link, I delved into Project Echo's bowels. More names. Javier Lopez. A cabbie zapped for urban stress data, now catatonic in Jacoby. Elena Vasquez. Undocumented cleaner dosed during a voluntary trial, deported mid-seizure. Victor's ledger tallied them as acceptable losses, footnotes in his assent. Each file a gut punch. Sins I'd borne in proxy. The controversial call? I could have stopped at the wire. Let the law grind slow. But no, I hacked the Apex servers, seeding Echo docs into their shareholder portal. Dawn raid, feds swarming Voss's Palo Alto estate, her empire teetering. Victor made bail by noon. $10 mill cash. His face gaunt on the courthouse steps. This is a witch hunt, he spat to reporters. My old wedding ring glinting mockingly. My wife, Esther, she's unstable. Vengeful. I loved her, but she crossed into cyberterrorism. Unstable. The word echoed his divorce filing. Now public fodder. I watched from Lena's couch. Bile rising. Love, it was possession. A merger of convenience. But the twist gnawed. In the link's haze, I'd glimpsed his fear, not of me, but of exposure. Echo wasn't ambition. It was desperation. Victor's father, Old Man Hale, had bankrupted the family in '87, leaving him clawing from boarding school debts. The neural tech? His redemption arc. Shortcuts born of terror. Evening brought the call I dreaded. Tommy's wife, Rosa, on a burner. MS. Kane, the files. It's true. Her voice cracked. Bronx thick. I swallowed. All of it. Victor greenlit the trials. I was the fall guy.
Pause.
Then fury. You worked with him. How many did you code for? The accusation landed like a slap. I'd buried the glitches. Told myself it was controlled risk. Complicity. The ugliest secret. Rosa. I was blind. This is my penance. She softened. Marginally. Penance don't bring Tommy back. But the money. It'll fight for others. We hung. Uneasy allies in the gray. Night deepened. Tension coiling. Lena burst in. Laptop glowing. Incoming. Victor's goons traced the drop. Private security. Ex-Blackwater types. Penthouse compromised. They're hunting ghosts. Adrenaline surged. His memories flashing. Evasion tactics from coke deals. Back alleys in the village. We bolted. Subway to a Jersey safe house. rain sheeting like tears. There, in a damp basement smelling of mildew and takeout, the climax brewed. Victor's email pinged my proxy, Esther. Meet me. The boathouse. Midnight. End this clean. Trap or truce? The decision controversial as hell. Confront the monster. Risk recapture. Or ghost forever. Letting karma limp along. I chose the storm. Central Park at midnight. Paths slick under sodium lamps. The boathouse a hulking shadow on the lake. Victor waited alone, or so it seemed, bundled in cashmere, eyes hollowed by flashbulbs. S. My name. Soft as sin. You win. The accounts are yours, clean slate.
Lies.
Drones hummed overhead, his security circling. I stepped closer, voice low. Slate, you fried souls for stock tips.
Vic.
Tommy. Javier, they're on me now. He flinched, reaching for a recorder? A gun? The air crackled. Link echoes sparking pain. Then the twist cracked open. As he lunged, whispering you knew. You coded the overrides. A flood. Not his memory, but mine. Buried deep. The night of the first trial. I'd seen the waivers. The volunteers dazed on sedatives. It's ethical, Victor swore. But I'd hesitated, then typed anyway. Complicit? No, worse. The glitch that fried Tommy? My unpatched line. Rushed for deadline. I'd borne his crimes. But this? Mine.
2.
The reversal hit like vertigo. I'd been the placeholder not just for him, but for my own denial. Security closed in. Shadows detaching from trees. Lena's voice in my ear. Extract now, cops en route. I bolted. Victor's roar echoing. You're no better. Branches whipped. Lungs burning. The lake a black mirror. Sirens wailed. His men scattering. Free, but fractured. The power move? Executed. But at what cost? Dawn broke gray over Jersey. The safe house a concrete bunker where sunlight feared to tread. Lena patched wounds, scrapes from the sprint. A sprained ankle singing Victor's old knee twinge. You got out clean, but he's lawyered up. Painting you as the mastermind. Swap rumors be damned. I nodded, staring at a cracked mirror. My face. Esther's, etched with lines that weren't all his. The link's graft lingered. Neural scar tissue. Tommy's eyes in dreams. Javier's screams in code compiles. Revenge tasted like ash. The $200 mill, a Pyrrhic wire. The debate raged public. A national Rorschach. Op-eds clashed. Atlantic hailed the placeholder uprising. Women reclaiming tech shadow, framing my hack as Me Too 2.0. Corporate patriarchy's reckoning. Breitbart sneered Esther Kane, cyber siren or domestic terrorist, accusing me of emasculating American enterprise for woke vendetta. Talk radio buzzed with callers. She had it coming. Marriage is partnership, not heist. Versus. Victor's the real crook, finally. Someone's got balls. Controversy coiled. Endless. My story a mirror for grudges. Even Maggie texted, saw the news. Maybe you're right. But come home, Ohio misses you. Home. The word ached. Placeholder for roadside outrun. Victor? Indicted by week's end. Echo trials unraveling like cheap thread. Boss flipped. Plea deals spilling Apex's complicity. The $200 mill?
Seized.
But Lena's funnels dispersed it. Restitution trusts. Neural ethics packs. A scholarship for Milltown coders like young me. Victor's empire?
Dust.
Vanguard rebranded under a female CEO. Irony's wink. Stock rebounding on clean slate hype. He rotted in Rikers. Awaiting trial. Divorce finalized in absentia. Last I heard, he penned a jailhouse memoir, betrayed by the beast within. Fitting his narcissism. Undimmed. But the ending? No tidy bow. No unambiguous win. The twist reversed not just truth,
But me.
in the link's aftermath. Audits revealed that fatal glitch? Not mine alone. Victor had tweaked the code post-merge, pushing voltages for edge performance, hiding it in his admin logs. We'd both buried bodies, my negligence, his malice. Complicit duo, fractured by ambition. I could have testified, traded immunity for his head. Controversial choice. Instead, I ghosted, slipping to Cleveland under Kane alias, crashing Maggie's spare room. Days blurred, Midwest winters, diner coffee, coding pro bono for vet clinics. Echoes faded, but not gone. Phantom trades and dreams. His laugh and wind. One night, Rosa called. Trial starts Monday. Tommy's fund? It's fighting suits against DARPA. The lot. Her voice steel. You coming? The ask hung. Debatable as fate. Testify. Drag the scar open. Force the happy-ish. End. Victor caged. Ethics reformed? Or vanish? Let the system grind. Tragic in its indifference? I chose middle gray. Anonymous deposition. Voice warped. Face blacked. Esther Kane, the prosecutor intoned. Tell us about the placeholder. I did. Betrayal's arc. Swap shadow. The ledger we both wrote. Victor took the stand last. Hollowed by orange jumpsuit. She destroyed me, he rasped, eyes locking mine across the room.
But I
pushed her. Admission. Grudging. The reversal complete. Jury deliberated 3 days. Verdict. Guilty. 15 to life. Cheers from the gallery. Rosa saw victory's price.
Me?
I slipped out back. Snow falling soft on Erie shore. Happy? In fragments, funds flowing. Secrets aired. A life reclaimed. Tragic? In the ghosts. The what-ifs. The marriage that mirrored America's grind. Winners placeholders for the next con.
Now.
Months on. I code in quiet. Ohio's fields a buffer from Manhattan's roar. Victor's book? Bestseller in prisons. Whispers of a sequel. Lena visits. Bearing tech toys. Next project real ethics. No hacks. I laugh. But the rig's ghost hums. Revenge? It executed the move. But left me debating the cost. Was I avenger or architect of mutual ruin? You decide. After all, in this empire of fools, we're all just placeholders until we rewrite the code.